Hello, guys. This is Koshi O. People find it hard to pronounce. It's my African name, and I hated it as a child because I was colonized. This is yours truly, Koshi O, and this is the Afritude movement. Now, if you're here for the first time, we know that Black people are very divided and we have a lot of problems. We're going to talk about the importance of uniting, and we're going to shed light on some of the issues and how we can eventually come together. Second thing that we'll discuss on this channel, well, I'm a fashion designer and I'm using the art of creativity to accomplish Africans uniting. I know a lot of people look down on creatives, but creatives do have the power to rebrand an entire continent. So I'm here to inspire the youth that are in the creative space. You're also going to journey with me in real time and watch us actually make a difference and accomplish our goals. Welcome to the Afritude movement. On today's episode, somebody asked me a ridiculous question. How is a hat going to unite Africa? So we're going to discuss how a hat is going to unite Africa. Whilst you watch me work, I received some design concepts already. I have to do some measurements today to send to the factory. So we're going to discuss that as I work and I do this, okay? Someone asked me how a hat was going to unite Africa. Well, when it comes to fashion, it's more than the product. It is, let me say, it is how the product makes people feel. So I'm going to tell you a little story whilst I work and I do my measurements. This is going to be a little hard to do, but I'm going to try. Okay, so a couple of years ago, I met this lady called Franca Sozzani. If anybody knows fashion very well, she was the editor-in-chief of Vogue Italia. She sadly passed away a few years ago. May her soul rest in peace. But her name still lives on. I got to spend some time with her. Like, if you want to know who Franca is, she was like the Bible of fashion. That was Franca. So I got the opportunity to spend time with Franca, and I took her to Ghana. Well, Franca, who is Italian and knows about fashion industry in Italy, understands the power of what fashion has done to the GDP of Italy, understands what fashion has done to the tourism in Italy. So Franca started this program where she called it Fashion for Development. And with Fashion for Development, she was going to use the medium of fashion to help develop Africa. I feel like she kind of left me that baton because as much as she meant well and she was powerful, it actually wasn't her place to develop Africa. Now I understand that it wasn't her place. It's going to take Africans to develop Africa. We're going to get assistance from people from all walks of life, but it's going to take Africans to develop Africa. Why fashion? Why did Franca decide to do that? She understood what that could do for Africa because she knew what it had done for Italy. So when someone comes on my page and asks me how is a hat going to unite Africa, go back to my story and understand how a hat is going to unite Africa. It's more than a hat. And the word Afritude resonates with a lot of people and it brings this sense of pride. And the funny thing is we're all wearing these fancy brands and nobody asked them a question. Now we're asking people to wear and be a walking billboard for a product that is preaching Africa Unite. Then you get all sorts of weird questions. The person is wearing Nike and Puma and has been a walking billboard for free and it has not helped his community in any way. Franca played a key role when it came to making African designers relevant. This was in the year maybe 2011 because she featured a lot of us on Vogue Italia. A lot of these African brands that you know of, they were featured on that magazine, right? Vogue Italia. This was for the Youths campaign. She knew the importance of fashion. She knew that fashion could actually develop Africa. That's 100 billion euro in Italy. It's like the third largest industry when it comes to Italy. So don't sleep on fashion. When you see someone who is of African descent that is doing something creative, don't come and write ridiculous things in their comments because sometimes it can be very discouraging for some people. So I received the designs. When I say I'm measuring for a design, this is what I mean. Okay. In terms of the logo, what size is it going to be? What are going to be the dimensions? So that's what I'm doing today. For those, I was just excited to talk about why a hat can unite Africa that, I forgot to go through that step. So I went for an old t-shirt. I have a design with a painting on the back, and I went for an old t-shirt of my son just to see how the sizing of the painting is, because what if I did the dimensions and it came back from the factory and I didn't like it, right? That would mean that's 6 weeks wasted. When you do this for a long time, you get to learn how to use odd objects and stuff around your house. I measured this about 33 centimeters width, 30 centimeters height, and then I transferred it onto the paper, sent it to my designer. They did it in CAD, and now I can send to my factory. When you turn over, you see how the logo is. That also needs sizing. I measure from the neck down. I also measure this other way horizontally, the length of it. I mean, all these things are important to get to the factory. So from the neckline down here, what is the length of this? What is the width of this? What is the height of this? That's exactly what I do. For the person who came and said, how is a hat going to solve our issue? This is how a hat is going to solve our issue and unite Africa. It's more than a hat, like I said. It's a whole slogan. It's a whole movement. It ignites a sense of pride. And you are forgetting the children. Let me tell you another story. You are forgetting the children, which is very key to this movement. When I started flirting with the idea of using the word Afritude, I made some samples and I had it in my studio. My nephew came here, and he's about 11 years old, and my nephew came for Thanksgiving. He went to my studio area and they were playing, and he happened to see the samples. This is how you know that a product is good. The people around you will be able to tell you and detect that. So my nephew comes around, he goes to my studio and he sees the samples, but he doesn't say anything to me. So the next day I was at a party with his parents. He called his mom. He was like, Mom, can you tell Auntie that I want one of those sweaters? And that was when I knew it was a hit, because they were the ones that I want to influence. Look, he comes here all the time. I have all kinds of designs. And this was the first time that he actually, took his time to come and remind his mom that he wanted one of the sweaters. So that was when I knew that I had a hit. And not just that, guys. People that know me, their kids are like, oh my God, I want that sweater. So you have to understand that there's something else going on. Afritude. I'm African with an attitude. I'm African and I have an attitude about it. My attitude is African. I'm proud. And these are 10, 12, 15-year-old kids. And it's not their parents that are coming to buy. The children are pushing the parents to come and buy. Some of these kids are in African Union in high school, elementary school. They are in programs and stuff, and they want to get it so they can wear it in school, right? Like Afritude. My attitude is Afritude. So this is more than just a hat. Okay, so I hope this answers your question. This is the Afritude movement, where we bring what is done in the dark to light. Thank you for joining me. Tune in for the next episode, which is going to be a banger or as exciting as this. Thank you. And this is the Afritude movement.